What you are about to witness will shake you to your very core. A geopolitical storm is brewing in one of the most volatile regions on Earth, and the winds of war may soon howl across the Sahel. The small landlocked nation of Niger, rich in uranium deposits, finds itself at the center of a maelstrom involving global superpowers and shadowy mercenary groups. Niger's uranium reserves make it strategically important on the global stage, but continued instability could allow outside forces to unduly influence Niger's sovereign affairs. If conflict erupts, it may destroy the remaining crops and infrastructure, plunging the population into a humanitarian crisis. Many already live at the edge of survival. Join us as we journey into the heart of darkness, as we unravel the sinister forces threatening to tear Niger, and perhaps the entire Sahel, asunder. Chapter 1. Understanding the Geography and History. Niger is a vast and unforgiving country located in the brutal West African deserts, just south of the merciless Sahara. With over 1.2 million punishing square kilometers of unwelcoming terrain, it is a land slightly larger than Alaska, yet far more inhospitable. However, with a meager population of only 27 million souls, coupled with Niger's unyielding geography, has made development and governance an endless fight throughout its tormented history. The country was finally freed from the tyrannical grip of French colonial rule in 1960, but the oppression was far from over. French influence remained an omnipresent force, using Niger's strategic uranium resources to maintain their iron-fisted control. In 2010, elections were held in hopes of establishing stability, but the democratic system established remains tenuous and fragile. Today, Niger is battling for survival on all fronts. Poverty is widespread as the majority resorts to subsistence farming and nomadic herding on harsh land. Ruthless jihadist groups like Boko Haram and the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara operate in lawless border regions, causing merciless attacks. Repeated droughts, worsened by climate change, have pushed the nation to catastrophe, causing humanitarian crises. Corruption hampers development efforts, undermining progress. Without decisive action, Niger faces state failure amidst these challenges. I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, please take a moment to like and subscribe below. Your likes and subscriptions help our videos get more views in the YouTube algorithm, and it means a lot to us to know that our content is appreciated. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2. Niger's Strategic Importance. Niger possesses strategic resources deep within its borders that have drawn the avaricious attention of the world's great powers. Beneath its unforgiving sands lie some of the largest uranium deposits on the planet, estimated at over 700,000 tons of radioactive ore, 5% of the whole world, a treasure trove of nuclear fuel. For decades, over 70% of Niger's uranium exports were shipped to the insatiable reactors of France, fueling its vast nuclear energy industry and allowing it to exert dominance over its former West African colony. Even today, French megacorporations like Orano Mine maintain an iron-fisted grip over the mines, retaining a powerful colonial-style stranglehold. Niger's uranium reserves have transformed it into one of the most crucial strategic suppliers for the nuclear war machines and energy grids of nations across the globe. It also sits astride proposed gas pipelines that could transport vast reserves of natural gas from the energy-rich Gulf of Guinea states to the ravenous markets of Europe, including the multi-billion-dollar Trans-Saharan Pipeline, a project that promises to deliver an alternative to Europe's dangerous dependence on Russian exports. However, developing these strategic resources has proven perilously difficult due to the perfect storm of insecurity and lack of infrastructure plaguing the country. Ruthless jihadist groups have launched relentless attacks on uranium mines and pipeline infrastructure projects, threatening the flow of resources to the world's great powers. Recognizing Niger's immense strategic value, rising superpower China has also ramped up engagement in recent years, pouring billions into mining and construction ventures to gain influence. Even resurgent Russia has gained a stronger foothold by providing a deluge of weapons and military aid. As the world's heavyweights vie ruthlessly for control over Niger's riches, the country risks becoming entangled in their geopolitical power games and used as a proxy battleground, with its people paying the heaviest price. Chapter 3. Wagner Group's Role in Niger's Coup. One shadowy non-state actor that has emerged as a key player across Africa in recent years is the Wagner Group, a Russian paramilitary organization with reported ties to Yevgeny Prigozhin, a Russian businessman who is close to the Kremlin. Though the Russian government denies any official connections, Wagner provides direct military support and training to regimes in several African countries in exchange for lucrative mining and energy concessions. Wagner's operatives, who are mostly ex-Russian military and intelligence officers, have been accused of widespread human rights abuses during their operations in Africa. In countries like Libya, the Central African Republic, Sudan, and Mali. Niger has been one of Wagner's focal points in Africa since 2018, when the group began training Nigerian troops and providing security for uranium mines operated by French and Chinese companies. However, speculation is rife that Wagner operatives may have played a role in orchestrating the coup in January 2022 that overthrew Niger's democratically elected president, Mahamadou Issoufou. Within days of the coup, the new military junta turned to Russia for diplomatic and security support. The coup in Niger was a culmination of long-standing socio-economic and political grievances within the country. Nigerians have struggled with poverty, corruption, and insecurity caused by jihadist groups like Boko Haram and the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara operating in the region. The ousted government was criticized for not doing enough to address these challenges. However, the junta has few viable plans to stabilize Niger and improve living standards. They are relying heavily on Russian support to consolidate their power instead of rebuilding democratic institutions and tackling the root causes that led to the coup. Wagner's involvement in Niger establishes a worrying pattern of political interference in Africa. The coup in Niger and Russia's backing of the junta also undermine regional organizations like ECOWAS, or Economic Community of West African States, a regional organization of West African countries aimed at promoting economic integration, political stability, and cooperation among its member states. They have been pushing for constitutional order and democratic governance in West Africa. Chapter 4. Possible scenarios and consequences. With Niger now firmly in Russia's camp due to Wagner's backing of the junta, several dangerous scenarios could emerge. France, which has over 5,000 troops stationed in the region, may feel compelled to intervene and restore constitutional order in its former colony. However, this risks confrontation with Russian mercenaries. A French invasion could spark a proxy war between NATO and Russia on African soil. Both sides would pour more arms and advisors into the Sahel, dragging the region into a long insurgency. Terrorists and criminal groups would exploit the chaos to expand their reach. Nearby Mali, the Central African Republic, and Chad could also be destabilized. Alternatively, Russia may choose to dig in and openly confront Western forces to establish its dominance. But a great power clash in Niger would shatter an already fragile country and region. Millions may be displaced as refugees, exacerbating the migration crisis in Europe. Spillover effects could endanger global trade routes and energy supplies. The most hopeful scenario is a negotiated political settlement restoring civilian rule. But the junta has little incentive to cede power, and Wagner will ensure Russian interests are protected. Regional powers like Algeria and international organizations must apply concerted diplomatic pressure while cutting off the junta economically. Targeted sanctions on Wagner may also help. Ultimately, Niger's people deserve peace, sovereignty, and the opportunity to prosper free from interference. But the window for a solution is narrowing each day tensions rise. The world must act swiftly to prevent a perfect storm from forming over the Sahel with catastrophic consequences. We hope that this overview has shed light on Niger's plight and the grave dangers it faces from destabilizing outside forces. Only by addressing the root political and economic issues can long-term stability be achieved. The alternative may be a conflict that engulfs the entire region in darkness. This has been an ominous outlook. Until next time.